Now we are going to talk about HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. I'm not going to talk about the disease AIDS. I'm just going to talk about the virus that is the causative agent of AIDS. That is human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV. That itself does not kill a person, but itself causes the immune system to be so weak, so vulnerable that many other opportunistic infectious agents can cause severe damage to the person with HIV. So what is HIV? What is HIV life cycle? What is the structure of HIV? And also what is the genetic material of HIV? We are going to talk about all this in this lecture. So let's begin. The very first thing is the basic information. HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks the body's immune system and completely shatters our immune defense. If HIV is not treated, it can lead to AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. But generally it takes time and longer incubation period. HIV causes AIDS and interferes with the body's ability to fight infections because it evades our immune system and destroys the immune system. No cure exists for AIDS as of now, but strict adherence to antiretroviral regime, or ARV. There are few drugs we have discovered that is known as the antiretroviral drug, because this virus is known as a retrovirus. Why? We are going to talk about that later on. But if a person is strictly adhered to this antiretroviral regime, in that case it can dramatically slow down the disease progress, as well as prevent the secondary infection. And because most of the AIDS patient, they die due to the secondary infection, not due to the primary HIV viral infection. Okay, how does it look like, this virus? The structure of the virus you can clearly see in the right hand side here. So it is a spherical virus. This is the very first thing. The outer shell of the virus is called an envelope. It is covered with spikes. Okay, and the spikes are made up with glycoproteins, and there are two different types of glycoproteins, GP41 and GP120, which allow the HIV to lock onto the specific target of this HIV virus, and that is our immune system cell, and that is known as CD4 cell. CD4 T cells. T cells are very important cells that are involved in the process of protecting us against an acute infection in the cell mediated immunity. So these CD4 T cells are also known as the helper T cells. Now these helper T cells are the target of the HIV, and particularly with this GP41 and GP120, it's like a lock and key fit with the CD4 T cell receptor, and as a result of which this HIV will take entry inside the CD4 T cell, and it use CD4 T cell as a hijacked home to modulate the whole immune system and destroy its natural capability to fight infection. Inside the virus envelope, there is a layer called the matrix. So this is the matrix layer made up with other proteins. So we have a capsid in the center, inside of which the genetic material is present. Then we have a matrix. Then we have a viral envelope. So this is again 3 to 4 layer of structures. And inside the capsid, if you look, there are enzymes present, enzymes known as integrase, enzymes known as reverse transcriptase, and protease. These are the three types of enzymes which are carried by the HIV capsid. So it generally come equipped with RNA as a genetic material, but apart from RNA, inside the capsid we have three different types of enzymes. Integrase, which allows this RNA, once converted to the DNA, will be integrated to the host genome, and reverse transcriptase is an enzyme that will help to make a DNA copy utilizing the viral RNA as a template. And there's a protease enzyme that can destroy and cut large protein into smaller pieces and chunks that can destroy the host proteins and also modify some host proteins that will be needed by this virus to spread. What is the size of the HIV virus? You can see the HIV virus is medium sized as per the virus standards. You can see this is HIV virus, that is 100 nanometer. 100 nanometer, more than 80 nanometer, we call it as a medium size for a virus. A bacteria is 2 micrometer, and red blood cell is 6 to 8 micrometer in diameter, and a lymphocyte, in this case the T lymphocyte, the CD4 T cell, we call 6 to 9 micrometer in diameter. So the HIV infects this kind of lymphocyte, that is CD4 T cells. The shell, which is of 70 to 100 nanometer of diameter for the HIV. What is the genetic material type carried by the HIV? Of course, it is single-stranded RNA acting as a genetic material. And they have the GP120, GP41 proteins, and they have the matrix proteins known as GAG P17, and they have GAG P24 and RNA. The polymerases and other proteins inside of the capsid, not polymerase, integrase, reverse transcriptase and protease enzymes are there along with RNA. What disease this HIV causes? We know it causes AIDS. If remain untreated, the HIV can cause AIDS, okay, and interferes with the body's ability to fight infections. And after AIDS, the body of an infected individual will become so vulnerable that other secondary infections will be deadly and dangerous for them. Within a few weeks of HIV infection, flu-like symptoms such as fever, sore throat and fatigue can occur. But the disease usually remain asymptomatic until progresses to AIDS. AIDS symptoms include weight loss, fever or night sweats, fatigue and recurrent infections. Recurrent different kind of bacterial and viral infection. Because our body's immune system becomes so vulnerable, a person catch infections almost every single day. Now, what is the incubation period? The seroconversion timeline is between 40 to 60 days, but with wide variability. But remember, if we talk about AIDS, okay, we are talking about here HIV. For the HIV, seroconversion time is 40 to 60 days. But for AIDS, if it's a disease, AIDS, in that case, the incubation period is longer, even 20-30 years. What are the mode of transmission? AIDS is transmitted by the sexual intercourse, or STD type, sexually transmitted disease pattern. So most people who get HIV get it through anal or vaginal sex. On the other hand, by sharing needles and syringes. Or to be frank, this HIV virus can spread from person to person via body fluid, particularly via the blood and other body fluids. So other drug injection equipment, for example, cookers. So these are the different modes of how this virus can spread. Now let's look at the scientific classification. So we are not going to see the classification, particularly not scientific classification. We are going to see the CDC classification of HIV. So it's a CDC classification of HIV, Center for Disease Control. They classify HIV based on its progression and degree of complexity and severity. So we have a timeline in the left hand side. We have course of infection, at what phase the infection is going on in the middle, and CDC classification group in the right hand side. So at the beginning, from 1 to 12 weeks, that means till 3 months, okay, from the exposure, it remains as an acute infection or acute phase. It generally never causes AIDS at this time. But it's very difficult to guess and to find out whether a person is affected with HIV in the very first 3 months. We call it CDC group 1 or initial infection. It is kind of treatable if we get to know about this point of time. Then the seroconversion begins from 2 to 18 weeks. 18 weeks means 6 months. Okay. Now seroconversion, it becomes asymptomatic. After the seroconversion, it can become asymptomatic. Okay. And we call it CDC group 2, asymptomatic kind. After seroconversion, we call it CDC group 2. But it can be asymptomatic, but it can be symptomatic. If it is symptomatic, you call it CDC group 3. If it is remaining asymptomatic, we call it CDC group 2. Now this may remain asymptomatic for 5 to 10 years. That is the journey time. Now if remains symptomatic from 5 to 10 years, then it moved to ARC and we call it CDC group 4A. And then finally that ARC will convert into AIDS disease. We call it CDC group 4B, C, D, E, depending upon the type of disease it causes. If neurological disease is caused, we call it CDC4B type. If opportunistic infections are being seen in the infected patients, we call it CDC group 4C. If secondary cancer is formed, because yes, HIV is linked with the cancer pathways as well, then we call it the group D type. And if other complications are there, we call it group 4E type. Okay, so these are the different scheme as per CDC guidelines. As we know that this disease, this HIV, can remain asymptomatic for 5 to 10, even 15 years. Okay. Now let's look at the life cycle of HIV virus. So after the HIV virus goes inside of the host, that is CD4 T cell, then what it does actually. CD4 T cell, they have this cluster of designation of CD4 in the surface, and with the help of GP120, glycoprotein receptor 120, it is a lock and key fit. Proper interaction is made by the HIV with the surface CD4 of the helper T cell. And after this process is done, there are co-receptors known as CCR5 and CXCR4. This co-receptor along with this interaction to the HIV is done, and after that the HIV RNA is released along with the transcriptase, integrase and other viral protein inside the host cytosol. You can see that the membrane fusion is there, and after the membrane fusion they release the component, and the component means the RNA, the component means the reverse transcriptase enzyme, integrase enzyme and protease enzyme. Now the viral DNA is formed by reverse transcription. So this mRNA is used as a template. Let me write, this mRNA is used as a template to make DNA by the reverse transcriptase enzyme that is carried by the virus itself. And after that the viral DNA is transported inside the nucleus, and at this moment this viral DNA in yellow color get itself integrated into the host nuclear genome. So host genome and host DNA is designated with this blue colored DNA here, and the viral DNA is designated with this yellow colored DNA here. With the help of integrase enzyme, this viral DNA is internalized and stitched to the host DNA, and this is the latency. This is the latency that we are going to see here. This is where the viral genome remains associated and embedded to the host DNA for as long as 5 to 10 years. That's why it remains asymptomatic at this moment. And when needed, this viral DNA, they will make the new viral RNA, and many more viral RNA are produced as a genetic material, and the new viral RNA is used as a material to produce more and more proteins like integrase as well as protease as well as reverse transcriptase. Once they are produced and the viral RNA genetic material is also produced, then the new viral RNA and proteins move near to the cell surface to make a new mature HIV virus, and then slowly the virus is released. Once the structures are assembled, the membrane of the CD4 T cells are vesicled and bulged out, and it takes the viral particles along with it. And this is how mature virion is released out. Okay, so this is how the life cycle of HIV occurs. It may remain latent for as long as 5 to 10 and 15 years, and then it can also revert back to the lytic phase, revert back to the phase where they will continue to make the RNA, and from the RNA they will make the proteins necessary for the packaging, and once the packaging is done, the viral particle will release out. So that's the overall idea about the HIV and HIV life cycle. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and also comment in the comment section whether you like it or not, and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Subscribe to our channel to get more and more videos like that in future. Thank you.